Hey guys, it's Loves to Loom here. Today I'm going to show you how to create my Ashanti bracelet. This is a 5-bar wide design that I've been wanting to get out to you guys for a little while now. I'm finally ready with some example bracelets. You can really switch up like how you lay the colors to get a different look. And you can use a lot of colors in this bracelet, but sometimes it's hard to really go past 5 colors. So what I'm going to do today is this version here where I kind of use more than one color and more than one spot. Also a quick note, we will be using an extension today. The setup is 5 bars wide. I'm going to use 2 sets of them, but since it's not long enough for my wrist, I do need about 5 chains to get it to fit. So if you do only have one set of 5, you can make it, but it will be much smaller. So the breakdown for today, you will need 184 bands total. The breakdown is 52 of this Persian blue that goes straight right here. 22 of the Persian blue that sits on the side right here. And 6 of the Persian blue for the extension on the back. You will also need 22 of the peach that runs on the side. You will need 24 of the peach that sits in the center, 24 of this X gold / turquoise color in the middle, and 12 of the glow-in-the-dark blue that sits inside. You don't really see it a whole lot from the front. You also need 22 of this baby blue that sits right here. And that's it. You will also need 1 C-clip and your hook. I will have that information linked down below. I know it is a lot of bands to break down, so if you need to reference back to it, it will be down there for you. And without rambling on any longer, I will explain the loom setup and we can get started. To make this bracelet, you will need to have at least 5 bar pins wide. If you only use the 5 wide, like I showed you in the intro, it will be about this big. I'm going to use 2 sets of 5, so my 5 here, and then right in front, another 5 connected where the long blue bases are. And that's so that my bracelet will be longer. But just make sure that you have your setup correctly. You can see that my outer bars are aligned. So I do have a video showing how to connect the 5 bars together, but they all go down like in a V. So if you follow that video, you can follow it to a T, and then when you're done, make sure that you back up the outer bar pins so that they sit next to each other like that. Alrighty, so the first thing we are going to do is choose this Persian band that runs straight up right there and right there. So I'm going to use baby blue for this. We're going to lay 1 on the center for closing it later. We'll go out to the left and the right. And then we will go up 1 on those same pins. And now this is where you will choose the color that you want to sit right here. So for this bracelet, I matched it, and that's what I'm going to do today. Here is one where I did not match it. So it's this band right here. So it's up to you what color you want to use, but I am going to stick with this color. So we're going to lay a horizontal band going out to the sides, just like that. And now we're going to go back to laying our straight band on the same pins. So now we are going to choose our next horizontal color because it is a different color now. And that's going to be what is the baby blue on this one. So on the other ones that I made, I matched it. But I'm doing this version here. So where this baby blue is, I am going to use pink. You can hear so much water running in my house, sorry. So we're going to lay them horizontally out. And now we'll go back to our first color right here. We're going to lay that straight. And now we go back to our first horizontal color, which is whatever you used right here. And that for me is blue. And we're going to alternate going up. So we're going to lay our straight band. Now I got to go back to my second horizontal color, which is my pink. Go back to straight. Lay my first horizontal color, which is blue. And straight again. So it's time for my pink again. So this part can take a little bit of patience, but it's not too bad. So as you can probably hear in my voice, I did not get very much sleep last night. I'm very, very tired and raspy. And I am vowing that I'm going to go to bed early tonight. But I had a really long day yesterday. My car broke down. I went to the Wawa like close to my house to get a coffee at like 6 in the morning after I dropped my son off. And I broke down. My car wouldn't start. So I had to walk home from Wawa at 6:30 in the morning and get a tow. And yeah, it wasn't fun. But I got it back. It's all fixed and I'm really happy. It was just bad terminals connecting to my battery. Which, thank goodness, because I thought it was my alternator going bad. If anyone cares. But I'm sure so many of you can relate to like, you know, we need our cars. So getting it back the same day was like the best news ever. Whoops. So you are going to, if you're using 2 sets of 5 bars wide like me, you're not going to go all the way down to the end. You are going to lay 23 straight ones. So you start from the very first one. Let me go back. I should have said this earlier. Starting from right here, this straight one here, that will be 1. And after you've laid 23 of them, you know that we are done. The reason we don't go all the way down to the end is only because I want to make sure that whether anyone does a 1 5-bar wide setup or a 2, I want to make sure that our looms look exactly the same when we go to start looping, so that everyone can follow the same instructions. So in order to do that, I had to stop a little shy on the 2-bar wide version. And that might not make sense to some of you. You might not know what I'm talking about, and that's okay. But just know that there is a reason why I'm not going to the end. Because they would fit on there, but then it would make it harder for other people to follow along. Because it wouldn't match, so yeah. Okay, so I have just laid my 23rd straight band, my blue band there. We will not lay a horizontal band on the end there. So we will go and just grab 2 more of our first color, which is my baby blue. And we're going to bring it diagonally into the center to close that part off. Like so. So this is what it should look like. I like to go through and make sure I didn't accidentally lay the wrong colors. And if I did, I will go back now and fix that. But go ahead and push them down and I'll show you what we're going to do next. So now we're going to be laying some long stretched diagonal bands, which is going to be the peach right here. And you can see it right there on the front. I'm going to use this fluorescent yellow. And the diagonal bands, it's a little bit strange. It is not going to be laid to the closest pin. So we're going to actually start on the second row. And we're not going to bring it to this closest pin right there. You need to go in between the pins and stretch it up to the next one. Like that. So in other words, that diagonal band should be going on top of whatever horizontal band you have on that row right there. And repeat everything we do on the right side, we are going to do on the left. Like that. And we're going to be doing this on every other row. So all of my diagonals should start on the pins that have blue on it. So I'm going to skip this pink row, come up to my blue. That's where my next one will go. And we do a long diagonal stretch down. Come up to the next blue and do a long diagonal stretch and repeat on the left. And we will do that all the way down. I don't know about where you guys live, but it got so hot here yesterday. It's funny because me and Christy from Instagram were just talking yesterday about how, like, we both complain about, like, oh, it's cold, it's raining. And now it's, like, warm and hot. And we're like, oh, no, it's too hot. And that's so me. I'm like, I don't want to be cold. Well, now I don't want to be hot. Fall is my favorite time of the year. What is your favorite time of the year? Alrighty, so there was my last diagonal band. So go ahead and push them down. So now we're going to lay some X's in the center of the loom, which is going to be where this gold turquoise color is there. And just for reference, it's the pink one on this one in the middle. So I'm going to use my sparkle blue. We are going to start on the very first row right here. And we're going to start from the left, cross it diagonally up to the right, and you go over the middle pin like that. And then we'll cross it in the other direction. We will come up to the next open pins. We do not overlap it, you know, on the other one. We come up to the next open pins, and that's where our next one will start. So the top of your X should be connected to wherever your diagonal band ended, like mine is. So I'll come up to the next one and start my next one. Like so. So this part's straightforward, I feel like. So we will do this until we reach the end of the loom as well. Hopefully this color combination won't look too bad. Hopefully it looks good and not even just too bad, because I like the colors. So we're going to push them down once again, and then we're going to choose the color that you want to lay in the very center, which is where that peach is right there. I used pink on this one. You can see that a little bit more. So it's up to you what color you want to use, but I am going to use this, it's supposed to be pastel yellow, but I don't know. I missed the old pastel yellows. But anyway, so we are going to start. I actually didn't push mine down, but you should because it makes it easier. But we're going to start on the center pin. And for the first one, we're going to lay a normal straight band like so. For all the rest of them, we're going to be laying it like a fishtail. Like when I do fishtail borders and we have to do that long stretched band, that's what we're going to do. So on top of the band we just laid, grab your next one, and you're going to stretch it up, going up 2 pins instead of just 1. So it's connecting over all 3 of those. And then we'll back up 1 pin, and that's where our next center band will start. And connecting it up 2, like so. So we'll back up 1, that's where it will start. And it's ending up there. So we need to do these long stretched bands all the way down. And I have done this on my channel quite a few times. So I am not going to spend too much time explaining that. But if anyone has an issue, let me know and I will be glad to help you. So I have just laid my last one. That's what it should look like. So go ahead and push those down, and then I'm going to tell you what we're going to do next. Alrighty. So the band that we're going to lay right now, you don't really see a whole lot. It's more for the inside, but you can see a little bit of the blue on the side right here. It's that glow-in-the-dark blue right there, right there. I'm going to actually stick with that same glow-in-the-dark blue. And we are going to come up to the second row, and we're going to lay a horizontal band going straight across like so. But for this band, we do need to grab it with our hook, the entire thing, and pull it back towards yourself so that it wraps around the back pin like that. And if you can do that when you lay it, you can do it that way as well, and I'll show you that on the next one. So we're going to come up 2 pins. So this is where we laid it. Skip this one and come up to the next. So in other words, at the top of all of our X's is where these are going to be laid. So right here. And then I'm going to pull it back behind the middle and connect it to the right. So if you can do that in all one motion, you can do it that way as well. I do personally find it easier to just lay them straight across and then pull it back with my hook. But just remember to skip every other one. So this will be my last one. And now I am going to grab my hook like I showed you and pull it back towards myself. Okay, so I have all of mine done. So we are going to turn our loom around so the openings are facing us. We're going to grab one more of the very first color that you chose, which for me is the baby blue or the pastel blue, and we will place a cap band, just a normal cap band wrapped around twice on the center pin like so. So the first thing that we're going to be looping up is going to be my pastel yellow, so our straight bands on the center. And just a little tip, some of them, as you can see on my second pin there, it's kind of under the X. That does not matter. We're just going to move that out of the way when we get there. It will not hurt anything, but chances are yours are going to be like that too, so I just wanted to mention that. So we're just going to be looping all of these yellows straight up. So on this pin here, it's the top band, and you just loop it to the pin above. And then on this pin, just move the X band out of the way. If it is in the way like mine is, grab your yellow and pull it up. It feels weird calling that yellow when in my camera it literally looks white. But yeah, so we're going to loop all of these straight up. Just make sure you're in front of the X band and not like behind it. Like don't come from back here trying to grab it. Make sure you move that X band, grab your straight pastel yellow and bring it forward. Fix that one. So you're going to keep looping these up until you reach the top, and I will meet you there when I'm done. Make sure you do not forget to get this very last short one that's in here. So the second to last pin, there is that short one that we laid, because your bracelet will fall apart in the middle if you don't loop that last short one up. So that's what we have so far. We will come back to the beginning. And of course, if you're not ready, just hit the pause button. I do like to push down some of those center bands for the next step. And now we're going to be alternating all the way up as we loop. So the first thing we're going to do is loop these diagonal blues back to themselves. So the first one will go to the left, the The second one will go to the right. And now we are going to loop our X band, which is this blue, my dark blue. So you're going to move on the left pin the top 2 bands out of the way. The third one will be my dark blue. You're going to act like you're connecting it to the center. Don't let it go, and also stretch it up to the pin that it's coming from, like that. And then we will repeat that for the opposite side. So push the top 2 out of the way, grab the third, which is my blue. Act like you're connecting it to the middle, but also stretch it up and connect it up there. So we'll back up, and now we'll do our yellow diagonals. I always like to do the left side and then the right, just so I don't forget anything. So I'll start on my left, move the top 2, grab the third, which is my yellow, and we're going to loop this diagonally to the left, not back to itself up here, but to the one below it where the horizontal band is. So right there. And like I said, we will repeat everything on the right side. Make sure you're only grabbing your yellow, like so. Now we're going to go in and loop the bottom band straight, so that will be my pastel blue. Repeat that on the right. I like to push that down a little bit. And now we are going to loop the pink that's in here. We're going to bring them in to the center. So I'll do my left one first. You're just going to bring it in and bring this one in. And to like finish that little section off, we'll go into this pin here. There is a lot of stuff you have to move out of the way, and you want to make sure you're getting the very bottom pastel blue that goes straight. And we'll do the same thing on the right side. So just make sure you're pushing all of that out of the way, grabbing the very bottom, and loop it forward. So we are now on our next section. And we're going to go back to looping our X bands again. Now the rows that have the other color for the horizontal, which is my blue, will be done differently. They will not be brought in like the pink were. So make sure you keep following along to know what we do there. So we're going to move this top band out of the way, grab my X band, which is my blue, connect it like you're connecting it to the middle, and also stretch it back to the pin it came from. And we will do the same on the left. So it should look like that. Now we will do our yellow diagonals. Sorry that you hear all the water running, guys. So we're going to grab our yellow, bring that up, connecting it not to the original pin it came from, but the one under it, so it makes like a check mark. Repeat on the right. We will come back here and loop. We're going to ignore that blue horizontal. And we're going to do the straight pastel blue. So you're going to push the 2 bands out of the way, which includes that horizontal. Grab the very bottom band, which is the band that goes straight, and just loop that forward. Repeat that on the right side. It can be a little tricky to get that blue horizontal to move out of the way, so just take your time. See, I just grabbed it by accident. Make sure you got the right one. And now we will loop our pink, and they will be brought in to the center. So from the outside pin, bring it in and bring it in. So we will be looping these later. So if you're wondering, like, well, why aren't we doing that? Don't worry, I didn't forget them. We'll be doing that later on. So to finish that section off, we need to push everything out of the way in here. Grab the very bottom, and that will be looped straight up. Like so. I have to kind of tilt it because my camera gets in the way, sorry. So we're going to start that all over again. So we will start by moving this top band and looping our X band. Do the same thing on the right pin. Then we'll go in and do our diagonal. And that will come diagonally up to the one below the original one. We'll back up and now do the straight band that's on that pin. I keep doing that. There we go. And now we will loop our pink inwards. Like so. So go into all of these on that pin and loop the bottom forward. And we're ready to start our next little section again. So I'm going to go into this one here. Looks like mine are a little twisted. There we go. So we're going to loop our X band. Then we will do our diagonal yellow. Now we will come back to these pins to do the straight navy or baby blue, excuse me. Remember, we're ignoring the side horizontal pastel blue and we're just moving it out of the way so that we can loop the bottom one forward. Repeat on the right side. And then we close the pink off by bringing it into the center. I say close it off, but that's just how I look at it in my brain. And then we need to loop forward again. So we're going to grab the very bottom band and bring those forward. We will keep repeating this. And I know it's a lot of steps, so just keep going from the left to the right, just like I'm doing, so you don't forget anything, because I was trying to do like all the left steps for each section, then all the right, and I kept forgetting something each time, so just do each step and then do it on the right and you should be good. Because there is a lot of steps on this one. I'm going to try not to talk too much here just so everyone can pay attention to what I'm doing. So I'm at my last X and I've already started looming that X out. From there will be no more diagonal bands to loop, so we will just go straight into looping the bottom straight band forward. Like so. We do not close that off yet because we have more looping to do. And then what we're going to do next is push down all of these bands. So not the long yellow there, but the ones under it. So the short ones, you want to push them down some to make the next step easier. So go ahead and do that and I'll be right back. Okay, so I've got all my little ones pushed down. What we're going to do is come to the top of our loom. And I did this exact looping before on a different bracelet. But on this top corner pin, the long diagonal yellow band, we're going to go and grab it from inside the opening of the band. And we're going to take it off of the pin, roll it towards yourself, and reconnect it to the pin below where the little yellow band is. We're going to come down, we're going to come down to the next one, grab it from inside, take it off of the pin, and roll it towards yourself. And the reason you want to do it like that is because when we loop it again, which we will be doing, you want to make sure that the band is facing the correct direction. So you don't want to grab it out here, lift it up, and then just sit it down, because you won't be like twisting it forward, if that makes sense. It probably wouldn't be a huge deal if you rolled it the wrong way, but I'm very tedious about things like that. But we are just going to transfer these bands all the way down. But do take your time, because you don't want to lose this band, because it will come completely out of what we've already looped. And the only one we're not going to do this on is the very last one. So this very last one, leave it exactly as is. We will not do that one. And then we'll do the same exact process for the left side. So for this side, I grab it from the top side of the band, since I'm right-handed, take it off, and then I can easily roll it forward and reconnect it on the pin below. Probably shouldn't have ran my washer before filming, because it is just so loud. I always think it's loud, but then I go back to my videos, and when I'm editing, I don't hear anything, and I'm like, they probably think I'm crazy, because I'm always saying things about noises, and you guys never hear it probably. But anyway, remember not to bring the last yellow band down. We're going to leave it like that. So now we're going to loop our borders. So we're not going to do anything on the first row that has bands on it, which is my small yellow ones. We're going to come up to the pin above where our first blue horizontal band is. And we're just going to go into this pin right here and grab that horizontal blue. It's the second band down, or the bottom band. And we're going to just bring that to the pin above. And then on that pin, we're going to go in and move the band that you just put there out of the way if you need to. And you're going to grab, there's 2 yellow bands there. Make sure you're grabbing the top one. So the one that we roll down is the one you're grabbing, not the bottom band, the top one. And then you're going to loop that up. We'll loop the blue up. And then we will go into this pin and loop the top yellow one up. I can't remember if it was my candy hearts. Oh, I can't think of the name, but I use this exact technique for one of my 3-bar wide designs. So we'll loop the blue, and then we will loop the top yellow. And everything's already locked in, so if you know how looping works, you may be saying like, well, will it fall apart because we're not looping the bottom? It will not. It's locked in already because of the pink band. So just keep alternating looping blue and the top yellow. And this is what creates our border. That's why I had you push that first yellow band down, because as you can see, it can be a little tricky trying to just grab the top one. But if you smush it down beforehand, it makes it a lot easier. So this is my last yellow that I'll be looping up. And I am on my last blue horizontal. And all we're going to do with this one is stretch it up and connect it to the top center pin like that. And then we will bring this one into the center to close that all off. Make sure you don't forget to do that. We're going to do the exact same process for the left side. So we don't do anything here. We come up to the first pin that has the blue horizontal. And we're just going to loop that up. And then we'll grab the top yellow and loop that up. So repeat this process like you did on the right side until you reach the top. And remember, in case you get ahead of me, we do need to add an extension on at the end. So wait for me. So I have reached my last blue horizontal. And just like we did on the other side, we are going to bring that into the top center up here. And then we'll go into that pin, push all of the top layers out of the way so that you're grabbing the bottom diagonal, and bring that into the center. So we need to add extensions onto this bracelet. So I am going to do it a little differently because we only need about 6 of them. Now, if your wrist is bigger than mine, you may need, 8, 9, something like that. But since it's only a couple, I'm going to do it a little differently. We're going to grab this band here that we laid there for closing. We're going to grab the other end and bring it together. And we have that on our hook. You're going to grab your bands and also get your C-clip while we're here. And we are going to just pull these through to make our single chain or our extension while it's still on the loom. So we're just going to pull this band through the 2 that are on my hook and then bring both ends together. And we will do that again. Grab my next one, bring them through both of them, bring both ends together. And we'll do that until you have about 5 or 6, depending on how many you need. I am going to use 6. But if you don't like this method or you're just not good with the hook like this, you can do the original method by just laying 6 of them on the loom and then connecting the top of your bracelet to the loom and then loop it up. But we are going to attach our C-clip here. Make sure you got it on there. I know that's such a little extension. It's so funny. So for this bracelet, it is very important, and I should have said this earlier in case you guys left me. It's very important that you use your hook to remove the side bands. So the very outer bar pins, use your hook, go all the way down on both sides and release them. So once you have all of them released, grab the very top of your bracelet, and I like to just pull up a little bit, and then if it's resisting, I get a hold of a new section and do that all the way down carefully. Or you can go like this. If you're worried about messing it up, and you just release it row by row. I like to go left, right, middle. Okay, you guys, so when you take it off of the loom, you are going to want to give it a big stretch, and I do it a couple times like that, like I bounce it. But this bracelet is known to need a little bit of tweaking, unfortunately, on these side bands where my blue ones are. They tend to sometimes twist a little. You can see that one's twisted. So I just grab it and I roll it. And that usually fixes it, and then I stretch it so that it sits correctly. This one needs it, so I roll it, stretch it so it sits correctly. Now, depending on the bands you use, like this bracelet here took me a long time. I had to fix a lot of bands using those dual bands. So depending on the bands you use, you may have to fix more or less. I do also want to say that my bracelet did come out a lot smaller using these bands versus all of these bands that I've used. So if you do need more extension bands up here, just put your hook through the top one and take the C-clip off and then add some more, depending how many you need. And then, of course, I'm sure everyone knows you just take your C-clip, attach it to your cap band there, and then you would have my completed Ashanti bracelet. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. It was a little bit of a long one today, but I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you make one, tag me on Instagram under Loves to Loom so I can see your beautiful creations. And that will be it for today. So thank you so much for watching another video, and I'll see you all really soon at my next tutorial. Thank you so much, guys. Bye.